Okay. Hey, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this really, really very special show of Thinking Re-envisioned. I am thrilled to have not Richard Castle,
No,
but Geoffrey Castle with us
with a G.
with a G. And I want to thank everybody for joining in and listening in. I'm going to go through the thread and thank everybody. Rita, of course, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate all your support. And of course, with my brother, well, we'd be to hell in a handbasket without my brother. So this is really great to have him. Paul, thank you so much. And I'm hoping again, Ireland is doing beautiful this time of year, although I'm sure it's cold and it's winter. Marcia, thank you so much. And I know hubby's with you. So thank you so much for listening. And I appreciate it. I hope you're having fun down. I think you're still back on the coast. So hope you're there and having fun. So thank you so much again. And Brian, welcome, sir. I'm glad to see you on here. This is great. Again, I would like to introduce Geoffrey with a G.
With a
Castle.
G. Yeah. How's everybody doing out there? And hello to Ireland. That's so cool. You tuned in. I used to do a daily gig at an Irish pub. I used to do like every week. Actually, it was a weekly gig. Monday nights we play the Wild Rover. I do Celtic Night at the Wild Rover, and we had these guys who were doing video streaming, and I never realized that there was a pub in Dublin that would put it on in the because when it's like evening in Seattle, it'd be morning in Dublin,
Exactly.
and so that all the morning regulars would come in and watch my watch my gig. I had no idea until like way after we were done. I love internet radio and internet like streaming stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, you get to see and do things at times you would never have done it. It's 12 o'clock someplace, and so it's really kind
It's
of
five
cool to
o'clock
see it.
someplace too.
And it's 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
so yeah, we like that time.
Oh yeah, we do.
But your whole process, everything that you play, even though you've been schooled in classical music. I mean, really the long-haired classical music, which I do love and have a wife that absolutely loves it. But everything you play has this Celtic footprint that I just am so impressed with the sound. How you blend Celtic and belly dancing, and I mean, how you blend all of this together is just absolutely amazing.
Well, it's funny. People ask me, what kind of music do you play? And they see the cowboy hat and they're thinking country, right? And yeah, no, actually, I just play music. I mean, it all has relevance. It's all. I mean, I did a gig in Beijing with a Jing player doing Chinese music. I was in a band that played flamenco, belly dance, Greek music.
Wow.
With a rock kind of flair. We were managed by Alice in Chains manager, but that's another story. And then, yeah, I mean, but the thing is that music is a language, and that language is universal.
Yes, it is.
And all of these different styles and all these different approaches to music, they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I've just fallen in love with the sound of Celtic music, Irish music. As a fiddle player, it's a deep treasure trove of beautiful stuff.
It is, and it fits so well. I mean, I love the idea of the fiddle, but your violin is six strings, not four, but
Yeah.
six strings.
Oh yeah.
So, tell me where that came from.
Okay, so the six-string violin thing, I started off playing classical four-string violin, and then I got my first electric violin when I was in high school, and nobody was selling them anywhere. I found it in a catalog, and they had different choices. So I'm like, okay, I can choose a four-string or a five-string. I'm going to choose a five-string, right? So I chose a five-string, and I played that for a long time. And then I had this idea, like, I wish I could go one string lower.
Oh,
And then I started looking around. I was shopping for a six-string violin. I'm shopping for a six-string violin, and I'm looking around, and it doesn't exist.
uh-huh.
So I found this guy named Tucker Barrett, and Tucker took the bait, basically. Tucker's like, what are you going to do with six strings on a violin? And I said, well, build it for me, and I'll show you. And we went through 5 prototypes. And the one you saw me play the other night is the one I couldn't break. That's prototype number 5.
You just couldn't break that one.
That's the one I couldn't break. He sent it to me. I'd break it, send it back. He'd tweak around with it a little bit, send me another one. I break it, send it back. And yeah, so I ended up with prototype number 5, and that's the one I tour with.
And all this time I thought you were just looking for a real tiny guitar. I was.
No, it's an XL violin, baby.
XL violin. I mean, it's beautiful. It really is magnificent. And what you make it do is just,
Well,
it's breathtaking.
here's the thing. It's like you hear a sound in your head, go get it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I do what I do.
Well, and on stage, you literally create your songs as you go along. I mean, and I would love for you to explain. I mean, I can do it, but
Well, yeah,
I
okay.
trip
So
over my tongue.
all of you guys out there, you saw that performance at the beginning of the hour, and it's like, well, what's this? Okay, what that is me. Everything that you heard was created live in real time on that stage in that moment with those belly dancers. I'm running a recording studio with my feet while I'm playing a six-string electric violin and trying not to be distracted by the belly dancers. And then I have my friend Darren on drums, one of the few drummers on the planet who can lock rhythmically to a violin. I'm not playing to him rhythmically. He's locking to the rhythm of the loop of the violin, which is actually kind of counterintuitive and ridiculous if you think about it.
Well, it is sort of backwards. You follow the drum.
Totally.
Yeah.
The drums are following the violin.
Wow. It is, and it is just really amazing. And how many tracks do you actually lay down as you're playing?
I don't know. It's infinite.
Is it after 5? It gets a little hard to count.
Well, no, I mean, after 30 or so, it gets.
I know.
I mean, but basically, how many of you guys have tried recording the outgoing message on your cell phone?
Yeah, probably.
And how many times did you? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm laying down like a 30-part outgoing cell phone message live in real time.
It's amazing. And and guys, go to his site, www.geoffreycastle.com, and I'm telling you, pull up some of this music. It is amazing that all of this is done. I mean, it sounds like an entire orchestra is playing, and yet it's
well, that's the thing. It's like I get to have the sound of a full orchestra without having to pay them and put up with their nonsense.
A whole lot less.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But Geoffrey with a G, Castle with a C. But the thing is, I've got 12 albums out, and they're all on Spotify. So if you no matter where you are in the world, if you have access to, if you're listening to us, you've got access to the internet, right?
Exactly.
And you have access to the internet, and you can go on Spotify. You can live stream every record I ever did.
And boy, there's an opportunity. Let me tell you, folks, the music is amazing. It really is. I have to admit, and it's really cool. And I would be remiss. I really would be. I know this is Geoffrey Castle. I mean, come on, let's get real.
The mysterious.
But he's an artist, an absolute artist in what he does, and happens to be married to an extremely talented artist.
Oh yeah,
in her own right. So
no, she's the talent in the family. I'm just fiddling around.
You're just a fiddler.
No, totally, man. I mean, well, I mean, we could go off on a tangent about my wife Shannon for days and days and days. If you want to see what she does, it's ShannonCastleArt.com.
Yes.
.com. Not ShannonCastle.com, because that's like a castle in Ireland, don't you know? But ShannonCastleArt.com. And mermaids and angels and the occasional motorcycle.
And the occasional motorcycle.
In glass.
Huge.
Heavy.
Massive.
I have to move it.
So you do know when it comes time to move.
Oh yeah, I know all about it.
I just love it. So you're here in Cuenca, which we are thrilled to have you here. You've done 3 performances up to now. You have another one Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to sit in and listen to you on Saturday when we get down to that one. That'll be fun. You're just going to sit in with one of the local bands.
Yeah.
And so your plans are back to the States after this visit, and then get to real work, huh?
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, I love what I do, and I do what I love, and I mean, people talk about going on vacation or taking a break, and it's like if I was down here and I wasn't playing shows, I'd be losing my mind. I mean, I love doing what I do, and the fact that I have these shows and all these opportunities to meet people just makes the travel so much sweeter.
Exactly.
And this is my second time coming down to Cuenca, and I hope to come down many, many more times, in the future, because it's so great here. I mean, my wife and I are having such a wonderful time,
Uh,
and meeting such great people, except for you, But I mean,
hey,
you're okay though.
now
You're okay.
somebody's got to be a hurdle.
You're
All
okay.
right.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to pipe in.
He's got to say something, of course.
But it's just you meet so many wonderful people, and you have chances to, like, just, I don't know, make new friends, and experience a new culture,
Yes.
and then bring this message and this music to people who haven't experienced it before, and it's just such a privilege, really.
It's well, I'll tell you what, the privilege is really ours. You're open, standing invitation anytime, you know that. So, whenever you get a chance to break away and come down, we would love to have you here. It is like you said, really set a different precedence than what the local establishment has to offer here, and because we are, it's such a small country, and so diverse that there's so much that we got to get you
What's
guys
kind
out
of
to
wild
see.
about what I do is that, no matter, I mean, I could be in New York City and it'd be the same thing. I mean, nobody does what I do, really.
No.
So everywhere I go, it's me. I mean, yeah, I mean, I remember one time I had a wedding client get in touch with me. They wanted me for some big fancy highfalutin wedding, and they had seen me online, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we'd like to hire you for our wedding." And I said, "Well, I live in Seattle, and the wedding was in New York City."
No, I love it.
And so I said, "Well, you can fly me in." And they go, "Okay, we'll consider that." And they hang up, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I know." And so I wait, like I'm waiting. 5, 4, 3, ring. Um, they're looking in New York. They're looking in Jersey. They're looking in Long Island. Nobody does what I do.
That's right.
And they ended up flying me into New York, and I had to rent a tuxedo, and the zipper stuck down. And it was like classic, like I'm wearing a tuxedo with the zipper down, but hey, they flew me in. So how bad could it be?
I just love it.
You know?
Life can be so fun. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just
No, no, you
it,
really can't.
so your next big plans are back in the States. So your next
Yeah.
concert is going to be
Actually, every year, this will be my 15th or 14th year. I've lost count, but I produce a St. Patrick's celebration every year, for the last 14, 15 years, and so that ought to make our viewers in Ireland happy. And the yeah, so the St. Patrick's celebration is going to be happening at the Kirkland Performance Center, which is a really nice 400-seat theater in
uh-huh.
Kirkland, Washington. And then I'm doing a performance the night before at the Admiral Theater, which is an 800-seat theater in Bremerton, Washington. And so, yeah, if you live anywhere near Washington State, buy tickets. And yeah, I my whole business plan really is I go where I'm invited.
Okay.
So
I love it.
I just go where I'm invited. But you know what's wild is when you write a song, when you write a song, sometimes you don't know where it came from. You don't know what the place is. You don't know what the relationship is to the song.
Right.
And so I wrote this song, and I thought it was my Northwest song because it was called Mist. I called it Mist on the Mountain.
Oh,
And I
okay.
thought I was writing about the Olympic mountains in Washington. But then there's this break in the middle of it where it kind of goes Latin. And I
Ah,
was kind of going, well, it's not really Seattle. Not really. Where I never knew that the mountains that the mist were on were actually right here in the Andes Mountains.
that's it.
Mist on the Mountain is
Oh, I
coming
love
up
it.
next. And you know what? This video that's going to be playing is from my Deep Well Sessions CDs. I did two CDs, 19 tracks in 2 days, live in the studio in real time. Done. Like each song is one take. Each take is a performance, and each performance was captured by a 5 camera video shoot.
Wow.
And so what you hear is what you see is what you get. I'm not faking anything.
Man,
So yeah, so I mean, just kind of keep that in mind when you're watching it. It's like most of the time when you're watching music videos, and it's like some guy running down a beach or some girl running down a beach, or there's a beach,
right.
But I mean, you don't make records on the beach, okay? You make records in a studio.
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, what you see is what you hear is what you get. This is exactly what I'm like when I'm playing violin for you.
That is awesome. I want to thank Jenny for joining us. Thank you so much, Jenny. Appreciate it. And give Matt a big hi for us. And Diego, thank you so much for tuning in. Love seeing that icon pop up. It was great seeing you this morning at breakfast. So thank you so much for joining us, Diego.
I want to see more heart icons out there, folks. Come on. Where are my heart icons?
You got the rule. You got the orders. Let's see what we have.
Where's my heart icon? Valentine's Day is coming up.
Hey, that's right. That's right.
I have some heart icons out there.
Big day too. Big day. Yeah. When we get after Wayne plays this next video, this is the mist
on the mountains.
And you're right. There we go. Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
I love it. And and you're right in the backyard here. We're sitting right next to backing up right to the car house.
So beautiful here.
And the mist was up there today. It was beautiful coming down. When we get back from the song, though, I want to talk about all the children's work you do, the schools that you work with. So when we get back from that,
absolutely.
we get some time. So I would love to do that, because you don't just have a big head with a big hat. You got a big heart,
and I've got a hard head.
And a hard head.
My wife will vouch for that. All right.
I love it.
Are we ready to play Mist on the Mountain?
Let's see. We go. Let's do it. Well, there you go, folks. That's just a sample of what this young man actually can do. So
Oh, thank
if
you.
you,
Checks in the mail, Henry.
so I give you that $20. So, so if you are within 1,000 miles of where this gentleman is playing, go see and do. This guy is amazing. I'm telling you. And Rita mentioned now she said he's playing at Santa Canella on Saturday evening, and that's fine. Come on down. Believe me, let's rock the place.
Yeah, but basically here I am. I'm like technically kind of sort of on vacation on Saturday, but no, I'm going to play with a little local band that I met some of the guys last Sunday, and they said they had a gig and invited me to come down and play. I'm like, okay, because that's how I roll. So you have no idea what's going to happen, and it usually does.
That's absolutely does, and it'll be fun. It's Paco's Blues is the Paco Blues is the band he'll be sitting in with actually just you know
Spontaneous.
just spontaneously going to do it. The shows for tomorrow night, Friday night, are sold out, of course, and in fact they sold out, added additional tables and
Sold those out too.
sold those out too. So
Yeah.
so Saturday, it's not anything that you have to buy tickets for. It's an absolute go in and do your thing. I think there's like a $5 cover charge or
What?
whatever the
Yeah.
cover charge is, and then come on down. I mean, it's going to be fun.
No, it's going to be a party, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: you're watching me do like Mist on the Mountain, and it's all like, dramatic and kind of like, Celtic-y and sort of like scary almost. But here's the thing: I mean, I've done a million different kinds of gigs, and one of my favorite things to do is just jump in with a blues band and just pack a dance floor. It's fun,
Oh,
and it's like I don't get to do that as much as I used to. I mean, I used to do that all the time back in New York. But I do all kinds of different kinds of shows, and lately I've been really focusing more on trying to bring trying to bring a message of music to kids all over the country.
there you go.
It's a real privilege, actually.
And tell us about that. I mean, because that is something that people obviously they're just getting the chance to see you, and those that are tuned in that actually know who you are. That's wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. But talk about that. I mean,
Well,
wow, what a fabulous
well,
thing.
I mean, here's the story behind it. It's kind of funny. I was doing a gig in Everett, Washington, on the waterfront, a big waterfront thing, and I had a six-piece band called the Guarneri Underground, and doing this big world music rock thing. And this gal comes up to me and goes, "Have you ever played a school assembly performance?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, no, but I'll try it." And so next thing I know, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm at Mukilteo Elementary School.
Wow.
And believe me, yeah, 8 a.m. is not fun for a musician. But there I was, and I walked in, and I set up, and I played for the kids and let them ask some questions, and I did a couple little workshopy things or whatever. But I'm playing for an entire floor of kids, and and then they kept having me come back. So I came back the next year, and I came back the next year, and I came back the next year. And the first year I did it, I asked a question. I said, "How many of you play the violin?" A few hands go up. "How many of you play the viola?" A few less hands go up. And um, year four, I remembered that question. And I said, "How many of you guys play the violin?" Half the hands in the school go up.
Oh wow.
And the other half played viola and cello. And they had, I found out later they had to hire extra string teachers to deal with the demand for wanting to play stringed instruments in the school. And there's kids who I run into. They're like older now, and I'll run into people. "Oh yeah, I remember seeing you, Mukilteo Elementary, and when I was in fifth grade, and you changed my life." And it's like that experience made me realize I had a calling. Really, it was something I really had to do. And right about that same time, I got a call from an agent who books music in schools, and she said, "Are you willing to travel?" And I said, "Sure." And next thing I know, I'm playing elementary, junior high, high school, we're doing workshops, all of these things in schools all over the United States, and actually I've done some in Europe too, but mostly in the continental United States and Alaska.
Wow, that is fabulous.
And it's just I just fell into it. It's just something that happened, and it's so great. I
Man.
just love doing it. I'm not getting rich off it. I mean, yeah, it's just something I feel like I have to do.
I love that. That just shows you the heart. That just shows the heart in all of this. So then you really are a tremendous advocate for music in schools, for
Oh
one,
yeah.
and this whole trend of budget cutting and all of this fun stuff that eliminates well school music programs in school, which usually are the first ones to go.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, people seem to think that cutting funding for things that are non-essential, like music and art, are great ways to save money. And the thing is that those non-essential things are what makes everything else stick.
Absolutely right.
And actually, if you're on the internet and you're watching this, I did a TED talk last year. Not last year, but like I guess it was 2016. No, 2017. I gave a TED talk in Seattle, and I talked about funding cuts in the schools and how ridiculous they are. I mean, here's the thing. Cutting funding for the arts is not like turning off a light switch to save money on the electric bill. It's like cutting down an apple tree that bears fruit every year that feeds an entire community to save on your water bill.
Yeah.
And if you want apples again, you got to grow a whole new tree. It's stupid.
So you lose
Like two
generation after
O's,
generation.
STOOPID, stupid. You're from New York, you know what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
okay.
about.
So it's stupid. So what you need to do is you need to support legislators and legislation that honors and supports and legitimizes and values the arts.
Absolutely.
I mean, whether it's orchestra or band or dance or visual arts, anything. Um, Writing
Exactly.
seems to be becoming a lost art too.
Yes.
It would sure be nice to have some support from the top on that.
It would be.
You
Here
know,
you hear that, top folks in communities and
from
school
the
districts,
top.
and yeah, that's where it's got to come from. And you're right. I have to agree with you. If you really want to see that kind of thing change, um, it's you got to support the people that are going to actually support that as they get elected, and that's where it's got to come from. And if you don't get out and do that, then this becomes a lost art.
I love seeing all the heart emojis for all the music in the schools and supporting music in the schools. You guys are so awesome.
That's right. Because it really is. I mean, so many kids. I mean, that was when school was a challenge for me. It really was. And I played guitar from the time I was 9 years old, and that was a reprieve. That was my go-to place. That was where I felt comfortable, and that's what I did. I relied on it, and to not have that as an option, you're not just destroying the academia.
Oh yeah,
You're like you said, you're destroying a whole generation of apple trees. You're the fruit that could have grown from that.
and the seeds from the fruit and the trees, and then you get orchards, and then you get forests, and then all of a sudden you can breathe because there's air.
That's it.
I mean, you can extrapolate this metaphor to ridiculous dimensions, but the fact of the matter is, if you walk, I mean, here's the thing, I'm not just like an artist talking about how valuable music is, by remembering junior high school through a vague haze of drugs and whatever. No, I mean, I'm talking about like in the here and now, walking into schools, and when I walk into a school where the music and art programs have been cut, you know it right away.
Yes.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's an energy. It's like all the color got sucked out. I mean, anybody see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in their life? And it's like what happens when the forces of evil take over,
Yep.
and it's not good.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I see when I walk into these schools, and I walk into these places, and it's like, you know, who who's gonna, I don't know. It's so frustrating.
And it is, and I think that that's a large part of the issue is that it drains the color, the life out of education. It really does. I mean, it gives the kids that have the that are, I mean, dance, that are artists and
Yeah.
creators, sculptures, the music performers. It sucks the life
People are
right out of
still
them.
figuring out the effects that music in particular has on the development of a brain.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, people are still figuring it out. I mean, I know what they're going to find out. They're going
Mhm.
to find out that it's really important. Einstein played violin for a reason.
There,
Well,
there you go. And with this show, thinking re-envisioned, and that's what it's all about. It's rethinking the way we do, and understanding some of the more important criteria that we have in our life. And we talk about vibration and changing our vibration. Well, what is music? Pure 100% vibration, and that's what we're dealing with. And I'm getting the four fingers from my brother. That's 4 minutes to go. So now I know we have Brian Brody coming on with Lee Raleigh at 9 o'clock at the top of the hour. So we'll make sure we are off air here. Give them a couple of minutes to switch over. So we've got ourselves. Well, Wayne's saying four. I'll probably give ourselves maybe three, and this way we can get done, and then Wayne can switch over and get them all set up. So
man, we were just getting started.
I know it's. This is.
I've got 12 albums out. We could go for 24 hours, man. We could do like a Jeffathon.
Well, we're just going to have to get you back here and do this,
so.
or I'll have to get up to where your neck of the woods is, and we'll just do a show from up there.
You got.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's funny you say that. I'd love to do a show in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I got contacted by some folks who run a theater there, but they're I don't know if they legalized marijuana there yet or not, but they're sure having trouble getting back in touch with me. But yeah, but it would be fun to come. I mean, I just go where I'm invited, and I just love the experiences I have everywhere I go.
Wow. See, and it's great because up in Central Michigan University, there's their music department, their head of their cello. I mean, not their cello, their viola department is a great friend of ours, Alicia. She is phenomenal.
Well, let's make something happen.
We'll have to make something happen.
Michigan, here I come.
Look out,
brother. Michigan. Look out, Michigan.
You asked.
Right on, brother.
I just love
All
it.
right.
Well, listen, everybody. I'm not sure what we got left there, bro. What do you need? 2 more minutes? Good. Well, we can.
Yeah, 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Come on.
If we were Rodney Dangerfield, that'd be like 72 jokes.
That's right.
We could go for hours with this.
I just love it. But yeah, everybody, thank you. I mean, this has been great. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been fun. It really has been. I cannot thank
me,
Sir Geoffrey.
Oh, I am not a Lord of the Realms. Sorry, no. I won't cop to that. Oh, yeah, Gandalf the Fiddler. Yeah, I think I got to grow a longer, whiter beard.
Considerably, a lot longer than my hair.
Man, you're awesome, and here, if you guys are out there listening and stuff, if you want to get in touch with me, you can. It's real easy. All you got to do is go on Facebook and click like on my official page, or just go to my website and you can write. You can use the contact link and write me a note, and I'll write back.
Exactly, and he does.
Yeah,
he really does, which is really cool. And again, if you have any questions,
I type real fast.
Yeah, and if you want, I type real slow. But if you want to get hold of me, then you know where to go. My website is there, out there too. So, and Wayne will post them. So we got 1 more minute to go, and I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, and using the appropriate finger this time. Thank you.
Nice. Nice.
But thank you. And Brian, we're going to turn this all over to you. Follow this one. Again, sir, thank you so much for joining me.
The pleasure was all mine, Henry.
Really been fun. Thanks a million.
Yeah.
Man. All righty, bro. We're going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much, everybody. Hasta luego.